Greetings, beautiful souls. This is Bevin Niemann-Cortez, and today I thought it would be really interesting, and this is something I've never attempted before, to describe the journey, the spiritual journey, the life journey of highly sensitive, intuitive, empathic people through the medium of oracle cards. And I've already pre-shuffled, I've already cast the cards out here, as well as a dice. And I think this is where we'll start. So if you can see, the number that came up was 7. So in the numerology, we have the numbers 0 through 9 or 10. Different people, couch that different ways. Some people have, don't count 0, don't count 10. But in any case, the journey from like 1 to 5 is sort of the journey of the lower chakras and our need for survival and our need for kind of understanding our place in the world and our need to grow up and learn to be a human and all those things. And we have a lot of challenges during that 0 through 5 time period. But then we get past 5 and we have now made a shift into a higher frequency. And the number 7 is all about that. Is it about a deeper dive? It's also about intuition. It's also about sensing things that are beyond just what you can see, asking powerful questions. And of course, as I'm describing this, it probably sounds a lot like you and I and a lot of other highly sensitive people who are out there. So we're going to start with that number 7 energy. I'm just going to stick it up here on my computer. And let's dive in and begin. The first card that came out was the Tower, right? And we always get so nervous. And when we receive the Tower card, we're like, shit, what's going to happen? And, I chuckle because I've had so many Tower moments in my life. I wasn't probably laughing during some of them, but looking back, I could see the lessons that I learned. But in my opinion, this represents, for sensitive people, some of the traumas that we may have experienced. Number one, just being a temperament minority. Highly sensitive people are probably like 20 to 25% of the human population, meaning that most of the humans on this planet are less sensitive. They're less aware. They're less perceptive. Their nervous systems aren't as reactive as us. They don't have the deepest emotions like we do. And so we see sometimes how hard it is to live in that kind of society where often our way of being is misunderstood, and being misunderstood, I believe, is the number one trauma. I'm not talking about traumas in the case of abuse and things like that. Those are extremely serious. And for many of us, that may be the deepest trauma that we hold. But being misunderstood, feeling like an outsider, feeling like an outcast, saying something, speaking up and having people ridicule you, being told that you're just being too sensitive, you need to get over it, when literally we can't stop thinking deeply. We can't change our nervous system. It's an innate a part of our biology in these human bodies. And so what happens then is we get sort of this hollow. So you see this woman who's a part of this hollow log, and we have this gap. We have a place where we kind of like pull in and we tuck ourselves away. We're like, no, I don't want to be in this world, even though there's all this beautiful abundance. The rain is coming down. Rain is often a sign of abundance, fertility. This says fecundity. And it's what we need. And water is life. We need it for our bodies. We need it to grow plants. We need to nurture the earth. And yet, even though there's all this abundance, we don't feel a part of it. We don't feel a part of it as a sensitive person. And I spent many years kind of in this space. I would sit somewhere and I would watch other people interact, watch the world go by and think, this is not where I belong. Right. So this card for me is really about that, the deep wound of not belonging, of not being understood, of not feeling good enough, not feeling can measure up, not feeling like, wow, I can't really do all the things that other people do because it's just too much for me. And, then what we go into is the hermit energy. And I'm sorry, these cards are kind of like very light, so they're a little harder to see. But the hermit is, a readily identified archetype. And we go into this hermit energy and we isolate ourselves, right? We isolate ourselves And, there was a point in my life where I had 0 friends. I literally went to work, came home, never invited anyone to my home, hardly ever went out to do anything, didn't barely know anyone in the town and the city in which I lived. I was really actually a hermit. And a part of me, I'm an introvert. I'm a deep introvert. So even doing this work, being on camera, doing all the things, being in public has been challenging for me sometimes. But, a part of me loved it. And then a part of me knew that this really wasn't healthy. We are social animals. We're meant to integrate with each other, meant to contribute and to connect in with society. And but it's just, we can't just connect with anyone. It has to be the right people. It has to be safe people. And so this card here, which is the 5 of Swords, is really us contemplating oh, how I don't fit in, and doing the sort of the overthinking. So HSPs have depth of processing, and our brains literally process everything, what we eat for breakfast and what we saw on YouTube, and a conversation and an offhand remark that someone made. We're processing all of this, thinking about it today, thinking about it tomorrow, thinking about it 5 years from now. You know what I'm talking about. And this is like overthinking, and we can easily get into this place. So these are some of the challenges, that we might have as sensitive people. Until we really understand ourselves, until we really dive in to the research about our trait, to other people's lived experiences, we join communities, we connect with other sensitive friends and colleagues, and then things begin to change for us. So then we have the card of the healer, right? And many HSPs are natural healers. We can either do healing work with our hands, we can sense into other people's pain in their body, we can hold that emotional space while people, release what needs to be released. We are very often natural healers. Some of us are therapists, and we use talk therapy, and we use a variety of methods to really help our clients move through these situations. But healing is what is in store. And that is really the first step. So actually, it's the second step. The first step is understanding yourself as a sensitive person. And the second step is looking back, reframing a lot of those situations, a lot of those tower moments, right? The things that really impacted you, whether they were big T traumas or even little t traumas. Little t traumas to sensitive people feel like big T traumas. So someone's offhand remark or making fun of you in a staff meeting or something, it feels like a big trauma. And it is, because it's unacceptable behavior to be treating people that way. But we have an opportunity ourselves to heal, and then to actually pass that on to others, to hold that space, and to be a practitioner who cares about sensitivity, who cares about sensitive people, and affirming them. And what we get to be when we decide to incorporate this into our practice is we get to be home. We get to be a home for people who have probably long felt like they did not belong anywhere. They did not have a home. They just were floating around. And I felt this way for a long time. But this is about the groundedness. This is about getting safe, helping people at the root chakra level feel a sense of safety, belonging, connection, right? Connection could be connection to the earth, connection to each other, connection to abundance. It could be connection to a lot of things, but practitioners who work with sensitive people can help them get grounded, help them feel like, wow, there's someone who really gets me, someone who understands how I feel, even if it's not their own experience, someone who empathizes with me. And this is the gift that us as healers can bring. And the other gift that we bring to our sensitive clients is helping them step into their personal power, right? To source that power from within. So a lot of sensitive people, like a lot of people in general, are really externally motivated and influenced, right? So we're always looking to the outside world, to other people's opinions, to popular culture, to whatever it may be, to make the decisions about our life. But that is abdicating our power, abdicating our sovereignty and our responsibility. So when we work with sensitive clients, we can help them access this, because a lot of sensitive people have felt powerless, right? So we take this energy here, where she has kind of this hole inside of herself. This also would include her solar plexus chakra, her root chakra, and her sacral. So this is all empty. It's all like shut down. And she's closed in. And this person is like, okay, I'm going to emerge. I'm going to pull that power up from the earth. I'm going to pull it from my heart. I'm going to use my brilliant mind, my depth of processing, my intuition. I'm going to pull that power up and I'm going to expand it out. So this person is in the process of really like erupting into the world, if you will, like going from being the complete hermit, right? And feeling empty and not belonging and not a part of all of this abundance and all of this goodness in the world, to this, right? And one of the things that's really important about that is, and I've taught a lot about this in my classes and my communities, is our ability to craft a life that actually nurtures our sensitivity instead of works against it. And this is the artist card, right? So it could literally be creativity, and many, many sensitive people are artists, writers, actors, they love to do creative things. They're problem solvers. In any field, you can have creativity, but being the artist of your life means that you're creating a vision for what it is that you want, what is nurturing and supportive for you personally, and regardless of what society tells us we should be doing, and then working towards that, actually manifesting it into form. So artists have ideas, they bring in these divine downloads, but then they make something tangible with it. And the tangible thing that you can help sensitive people with as a practitioner is, how do I craft a life that really nurtures me? And it's going to look very different for each person. Every client I've worked with, either one-on-one or in a group, has been on a different journey, but what we share in common is our way of approaching the world, our way of perceiving the world. And it's really cool because right now outside, I live on a kind of on the side of a mountain here in Mexico, and we have a rooftop deck, and the wind is just whipping, and I feel like this power rising, right? This power. And you can see that here. There's all these clouds like swirling around. Let me see if I can get a better look at it. All these clouds swirling around, and this person's looking through like a portal at this beautiful tree that's emerging here, the tree of life, and they're drawing, and they're naked, right? So they've kind of let go of all of those previous conceptions about who they are, about what they need, about what they want, how they have to conform, and they're crafting a new life for themselves. And one of the most important things to do if you're a sensitive practitioner, if you work with, empaths or HSPs, is to help them trust their intuition, right? To encourage them to use practices and tools that help them to activate their wisdom, their intuition. She's holding this beautiful obsidian stone, very grounding, and there's an owl here, and she's sort of unveiling herself, right? So this is the beautiful part, and we have these two parts. We have sort of the outer dynamic energy where we are creating that, and then the still going within. So we don't want to leave the hermit energy behind, but we want to transmute it into this kind of energy, the divine, feminine, magnetic energy, where we are accessing this wisdom. There's an entire web, a matrix of life, a matrix of the cosmos that we can tap into. And many sensitive people, because being intuitive is also a temperament minority. I think it's like 26% of people are highly intuitive. So when we know something and we just know it, it is very hard sometimes to explain to people who are less intuitive, well, here's how I know, because they want proof, they want facts, but sometimes it's a feeling, and the feeling will often unfold itself into reality. We'll be like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. We want to encourage our clients to trust themselves. It's just so important. And then encourage them to start getting out into the world. So here we have the 5 of Wands. So the 5 is a change card. The 1 is action. And this is going out, getting on a journey, finding themselves, finding out what their purpose is, finding out what lights them up. Sorry, I'm really trying to show you here. There you go. And really starting to be more present. So taking all of this wonderful Five of Swords energy where we've been thinking and pondering and planning and taking action on it and getting out there and being with others and really doing that. And the final aspect, and this is what I personally believe, why did we come here as a sensitive person to this planet? Why did we come into these physical bodies at this time in human history? Because we are meant to bridge heaven and earth, or whatever you want to call the spirit world, the larger cosmos, the origin of our existence. We are meant to bridge that. And, you know, we have a lot of spirit animals here. We have the wolf spirit. We have a horse. We have an owl, a bear. And then we have a contract, right? So here's our divine contract. So some people believe that our souls sort of signed this, you know, soul contract before we came to come here and to achieve certain things and to be a certain kind of presence in the world and to help evolve consciousness. So that is going, again, that is going to look different for each person. You see the diversity of the different spirit animals that were present. There's so many kinds of people, and HSPs and empaths are very, very diverse. Your clients will be very diverse. They'll have different needs, different fears, different challenges. And yet, because they're sensitive, they will also have similarities. So I hope this was really helpful for you as you're thinking about, you know, whether the Perceptive Collective, my advanced sensitivity practitioner training, is going to be the right fit for you and your practice. You know, maybe you already have a practice and you're thinking, I would like to add an offer to really tap in and attract sensitive people like myself and to work with them in the way that you specifically work. Maybe you're thinking, I've wanted to mentor sensitive people for some time. I haven't really known how to get started. And so this program would be great for that as well. Everyone's going to get the same information, whether you're a more experienced practitioner or whether you're a beginner practitioner. And this information is really going to help you with the foundations. So even me, I've been in business now for 8 years. I still love to go back to the basics. I still watch and follow different teachers who say, okay, well, remember that these are the basic things that you need to have. And so this is the journey of going through the tower moment, awakening to the fact that you're sensitive, starting to realize that maybe that hermit energy that you did to be hypervigilant and shut down and that kind of thing isn't really working anymore. You don't want to have that hollow feeling. You don't want to be constricted and defensive and shying away from people anymore. You don't want to be involved in all that overthinking anymore. There is a healing process that is coming through here. And us practitioners can be a safe place. We can be home for sensitive people who are going through this awakening, so they feel less alone, so they understand that other people honor them and accept them and believe in them, and they can access their personal power and craft and draw their life into existence. They can make little tiny tweaks here and there until they have a life that really supports them in the same way that I have. Bit by bit by bit, I've been changing different parts of my life, relationships, career, where I live, you know, all those things, and just getting to a place that really suits me and trusting in their intuition, really listening to that small, still voice within, and then going out into the world and making it happen, being that bridge between the spirit world, between source, between all these things that we can sense and perceive that no one else can, and really translating that down into practical action, advocacy, activism, you know, passion, whatever that may be, really being that bridge. So I hope this was helpful for you to kind of look at, you know, this journey of the perceptive soul. And I'd love if there's any part of this that really resonated with you, you can click reply to this and just let me know what What really stood out for you? Which part of this was maybe the most challenging part of your journey? Which part of this was the most exciting part of your journey? Or where are you on this process now? Are you finding home, finding your people, getting grounded? Are you accessing your personal power? Are you starting to draw and craft your life into existence? Are you focusing on your intuition? Or are you being this bridge between the spirit world and the physical earthly realm? Just let me know. And I'd love to see you inside the Perceptive Collective. We start on June 14th and love to have you join us. You can download the program brochure and you can sign up for a zero pressure discovery call with me to figure out, is this the right fit? Is this the next journey for you on your particular path? Be well, my friends. I will see you soon. Namaste.